welcome to another edition of the I Love Shreveport podcast. I'm your host, Corey Williams. We're in this month of October, and we are talking about domestic violence awareness. And today, we have sitting with us Miss Alexis Smith, Project Celebration. How's your day going, Miss Alexa?
You know, my day today is pretty good.
Awesome.
It's pretty good.
Awesome. Before we get into some specifics on this topic at hand, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm born and raised in Shreveport. I went to school at ULM, got my bachelor's, went to NSU, got my master's.
Absolutely.
While I was getting my bachelor's, I actually started working for Project Celebration in 2012.
Okay.
I started off as a sexual assault advocate. I was going into the hospitals.
Sure.
And then once I graduated, I moved into a full-time role to go into the hospitals and to do community education.
Absolutely.
And so I was going out to a lot of different community members, giving presentations. And from there, I've just kind of been in all aspects of Project Celebration at this point. I did switch over to DV in 2016, and I've been an advocate in DV, well, sexual assault and DV since then. So they've had me for over 10 years.
Wow. Absolutely. So we see this name, Project Celebration. What is that about? Tell us the meaning behind that.
So the story behind the name Project Celebration comes from where it originated. So in 1985, 1986, in Manny, Louisiana, there was the graduation. That graduation night, you know, kids want to go out, they want to have fun, they want to party. Well, some kids were drinking and driving. A young lady was hit by a drunk driver.
Wow.
That drunk driver was a graduating teen that year, and she ultimately ended up in a coma and ultimately passed away. So from there, a group of parents, it was a lot of moms, they got together, they were like, we want to keep our kids safe.
Sure.
And so what they did was they started a group for the teens so they could have a space and a place to safely have fun and celebrate graduating. And so after that period, they did a celebration each year for the graduating class where they had a lock-in, they had a party, they had prizes, games. It was a fun celebration for them.
Wow.
In 1989, you know, during those couple of years, they, you know, received private donations, they applied for grants, and they ultimately ended up getting a grant to start a DV program, and then they received money to open Taylor House, and that's where they, 1989, they were incorporated.
Sure.
And so that's when Project Celebration became a DV safe house, and that's where they started doing that type of work.
Wow. Great information. Project Celebration, from what we understand, is dedicated to those in need with urgency and compassion, right? Tell us what that encompasses, because there's a lot of people in need and probably will be in need during this holiday season as it approaches as well.
So if I had a list of all of the things that we did, I could go on and on.
Wow.
Because honestly, we do take it case by case because not every individual needs the same thing. Some of the, you know, really important things that we do offer is shelter. We do have a safe house because Project Celebration originated in Manny, Louisiana. We do have a safe house in Manny. It's called Taylor House. And we have a safe house here in Caddo Parish. Apart from the safe house, we have advocates. Our advocates are trained. They are trained through our LCADV coalition. And from there, you receive safety planning. You receive any type of counseling that you may need, that your children may need. A lot of it is individualized plans, really get into the root of what is it that individual person needs. So it could be help with bills. It could be getting assistance moving. It could be helping them relocate to a whole different state. We are able to provide support and provide help when we can, when we have the funds as well, to those individuals that need it.
Absolutely. Domestic violence. Wow. As we know, it's violent, it's aggressive behavior within the home, typically involving the violent abuse of spouses or partners. How are you able to help those more specifically who have become victims of domestic violence?
Honestly, just getting our information out there and letting them know that they are not alone and there
Sure.
is a organization, there is a community of people who are here to help, who are
Sure.
here if you reach out. Even a lot of times people think that they can only come to us or they need to come to us when they're ready. It takes up to 7 times before a person finally leaves a
Wow.
situation.
Wow.
So we're here whenever. We're here the first time, the second time, the third, fourth,
Absolutely.
fifth, sixth, the 10th. We're here from the beginning.
Wow.
Even if it's just to talk, even if it's you don't necessarily know how to put everything into words, we can contact you with a counselor. We have contract counselors and we have other organizations that we work with where we can get you counseling. Wow. We can set you up with someone. It's not a we're only here in emergency situations. Sure. We're here from the start.
Wow.
We're here at education. We want to educate. We want to be in the room with young people to let them know it starts with friendships.
Absolutely.
These type of behaviors, when it comes to aggression and being physically abusive, it starts young. Absolutely. Because they had to learn it from somewhere, and you're learning from the environment around you.
I was just about to say it doesn't always necessarily is specific for adults, right? It's starting with our children as well.
What I like to remind people is that domestic violence isn't, you were saying earlier about being between, two partners or two people who are together. It's not always two partners, because what also falls under domestic violence is family violence. It could be a parent and a child. It could be a child and a child. It could be a child and a parent. It could be any family member that lives in that home that is being abusive, physically, verbally, mentally, psychologically.
Wow.
If they're being abusive, we can help. It's not just, oh, you have to be in a relationship, because a lot of people don't think about the violence that happens in the home that's not relationship based.
Absolutely. So that's one of the sectors we wanted to kind of talk about, domestic violence. There's another one. It's probably going to be 3 we're going to talk about here, but the second one is sexual assault. From what we understand, it happens when someone is either touched by another person in a sexual manner without consent. How are you able to help those that have become victims of sexual assault?
In the same way, how all of the resources that we have available to victims and survivors of DV, those same resources are available to victims and survivors of sexual assault. One of the things that I really love about PCI is our hospital advocacy.
Okay.
Because many people don't know that when you are sexually assaulted, they don't think, oh, I need to go to the hospital and talk to somebody. The first thing they want to do is get themselves in a safe space, which I wholeheartedly agree with. However, if people had that information, if you know somebody who has been assaulted, if you are a person who has been assaulted, you do have the option to go to the hospital and get checked out without it being charged to you and ask for an advocate.
Absolutely.
What will happen is we're available 24 hours. Of course, with availability, with right now, somebody will meet them. It may take some time. I say that because as you know, we did have a couple of calls this morning.
Sure.
And so those calls range in hours. But having a hospital advocate, somebody you have just gone through probably the worst thing in your life.
Right.
Having somebody there who knows the system, who can talk you through what's going to happen, who can talk you through what a collection kit is, who can talk you through your options without you feeling alone, without you feeling like you're out of control, without you feeling like you don't know what to do. That is one of the things I love about PCI, is that we have that. If somebody goes into a hospital needing us, we're there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the last piece is child abuse. I want you to tell us, in your words, what you all consider child abuse, and how do you get a child to talk about this? Normally, children will close up, maybe scared, to share. What if the parents don't know about this and the child wants to bring it to somebody first before the parents? What's your process? How do you get that child to open up about child abuse?
So, I will brag on PCI, but I will also brag on the Gingerbread House. PCI and the Gingerbread House have amazingly trained forensic interviewers. So they understand how they need to approach, how they need to talk to a child, what they need to say or not say for that child to be comfortable enough to open up. So here in our area, we do have the Gingerbread House. In our other areas in Sabine, I want to say it's Sabine, Natchitoches, DeSoto, Red River, they do have our forensic interviewer from Project Celebration. If you suspect that your child is being abused, or if you're just having a hard time really knowing how to talk, reach out to the Gingerbread House. Reach out to Project Celebration and ask to speak with that forensic interviewer. Let them know all of the information that you have about what's going on, and they will guide you with your next step. Because sometimes when it's child abuse, whether you suspect it or whether you have seen it, always call DCFS. Always call the police. Because we don't know, and it's not our job to investigate, it's our job to be here to support.
I got you. So with these core areas, how are you able to continue to provide a helping hand? I'm sure you may need things like clothing, medical needs. How does that process continue with the needs of these victims?
So we take donations all of the time. Both areas, all of our areas, because we do cover 7 parishes. We take donations all of the time. One way that you can donate is just by calling the main office of whichever area and talking with that advocate to schedule a drop off or to ask them if there's anything specific that they need. Oftentimes we do post a list on our social media pages with all of the items that we are requesting. We have women, men, children coming from situations with nothing but the clothes on their back. And maybe a purse or a bag. We want to help them be able to either restart or have something before leaving us or going on to their next thing, because that it's one thing to leave the situation. It's another thing when you're forced to leave a situation and you're forced to leave everything behind. And you're forced to rebuild. And so it's kind of like we want to take away as much stress as we can. So providing basic needs like lotion, deodorant, body wash, laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, providing stuff like that. To me, it's just like if we could take just a little bit off their plate as they're trying, because it's going to take money and it's going to take time.
Absolutely. And so even with that, on Wednesdays, I've noticed you all have support groups. And so does someone have to be already in the system, if you would, to be a part of the support groups? Or if someone knows about the support groups, can they just come and be a part to get information? Or even tell us what happens on Wednesdays in those support groups?
So with our support groups, they're, I guess I would categorize them as semi-closed, meaning they're open to whoever wants to join. However, we're not going to ask you to just come and just, pour yourself out to strangers. There will be like if you call and you ask about it, we'll talk to you about meeting before we have you go to that group, just so we can get some information from you. But once you're in that group, you can come, you cannot come. we'll always have those groups Wednesdays at 1 and I believe 3. 1 is for DV, 3 is for sexual assault.
Absolutely.
It's just, it is open. It's open to anybody who needs it. We just ask, or we just want to be able to meet with the person before, so they don't feel any pressure and they are understanding and know what it's going to consist of. Now, with our groups, they are mostly survivor led. We have a facilitator, and we do have topics that we bring up during that, but we want it to be survivor led. We want them to lead the conversation about what is it that you would like to talk about and discuss and work through with everyone here, and we kind of go that way. But it does start off as like we have someone who will pick a topic, and some of these topics could be life skills. Some of these topics could be things talking about what domestic violence actually is, because we have noticed, or I have noticed, that many people normalize domestic violence as, oh, he just does this because he loves me. No, he does not.
Wow. Absolutely.
If somebody loves you, seeing you in pain or seeing you hurt is the last thing that they want to do.
Absolutely.
And so somebody intentionally doing that is not showing love. It's showing disdain. It's showing anger. It's showing, it could be hate, but it definitely shows that that person does not like you.
Absolutely. So you have clothing that you supply. You have medical needs that you supply as well, and you also supply shelter. So if a victim needs to get away and access the shelter, how can they do that?
So we have a 24/7 hotline, and that hotline is connected to our shelter house. So with that hotline, you can call and ask any type of questions, but that particular hotline is for if you are in an emergency situation and you need to get away. The number is 318-226-5015, and that number, an advocate will answer 24/7. It could be in the dead middle of the night or early in the morning. They'll assess, meaning they will talk with that person about what it is that is happening, what it is that they need, what it is that we can help with. And if we have space available and they accept our offer, then they'll be able to come into the shelter.
Now, is that hotline just for the shelter, or is that
hotline is a hotline for our Catawba-Webster area?
Okay.
So anybody in that area can use that hotline for anything. Even if it's just to ask a question, even if it's just to talk to someone, that hotline is there for anybody 24/7.
Absolutely. So you're doing all of this for these victims, right? So how can an organization that may be watching say, hey, I want to help. I didn't know this information, but it's good information I'm getting. I want to help. I want to help donate. How can they donate clothing? How can they donate different things to kind of be a help to you all and to the victims?
So for our area, our outreach office is located on 9th Street in the Harbor Building. You can also call 318-221-8003. And that is our outreach office. We have an advocate there from 8 to 4. And that time you can call, you can ask, but my thing is bring what you have. If you have gently used new clothes, there are certain items that we do have to have new, like any type of hair care products, any type of facial products, any type of personal hygiene products. All of those have to be new. Clothes, we do lightly used or lightly worn or new. When I said we have brooms, we have mops, we have towels, we have sheets. One of the things that I say that we always need is sheets, towels, and cleaning supplies, lotion, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, hair care products, all of it. That we just need it because we have women come in into our shelter. We have people coming into outreach because these items aren't just for the women that we house.
Sure.
It's for the women who we've housed and they have gone, and it's for the women who are our non-residential people who they just need something.
Absolutely.
They don't necessarily need shelter, but they do need a little bit of help, and we want to have those things available
Absolutely.
for them.
Absolutely. And so education is what
Mm-hmm.
we've known. Education is prevention,
Mm-hmm.
right? So outside of the support groups, what else can someone, or where else can someone go gain information about domestic violence, sexual abuse, child abuse, to kind of gain that information, knowledge, so that they can possibly prevent these things happening to them or to a loved one?
So our advocates are available to give presentations, and
Okay.
those presentations can be tailored to the topic or the month. It can be tailored to whatever that person needs or that organization needs. But we do offer ourselves to educate. We do PowerPoints, we do activities. One of the things that we've done recently with our task force, we did the In Her Shoes or In Their Shoes experience.
Sure.
I like to call it an experience.
Sure.
It's not a training. In that we set up stations, and it's stories.
Sure.
It's real life stories of people who have been through DV situations.
Wow.
And we use that particular experience to educate, because a lot of people, they don't know what all domestic violence touches.
Okay.
So
Right.
they'll go through a story of a woman who may have a kid or two, and she's in a situation and now she's deciding to leave. You follow her through every single step from
Absolutely.
the time that she decides to leave to the ending of that story. And we don't know how the story ends. Some people make it, some people don't. But going through that experience, it allows you to open your eyes to everything that domestic violence affects, because it doesn't just affect the person that's being abused. It affects her children or his children. It affects their job. It affects their money. It affects their mental health. It affects their actual health. And especially if you're dealing with a person who doesn't have a strong support system, it could leave them homeless.
Absolutely.
And I want people to understand that there's a cost, and that cost just doesn't affect that person. It
Sure.
affects us as well.
Absolutely.
And we have the ability to help.
Sure.
It's just a matter of knowing what that person needs, listening to what that person needs, and being or providing what that person needs.
Absolutely. You supplied so much information. Before we get out of here, would you tell us your website for Project Celebration so someone can go in?
And I'm excited because I was the one who was able to redo our website.
Absolutely.
So our website is www.projectcelebration.com.
And
Can you start that over?
Yes.
that question. All right. So you shared a lot of information with us today. Before we get out of here, would you share the website where people can go and gain more information if they're online?
Yes. So I redid our website. It's www.projectcelebration.com. And hopefully it is better to navigate, but we do have literally every phone number in our organization there now.
Absolutely.
So on our contact page, every number to every parish office or advocate who works that parish, we have the number on there. We have email addresses, all of the information, our location, everything.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, before we get out of here, are there any last minute things that you might want to mention? Maybe we missed something in the process, any events that you have coming up?
So October 25th in Bossier Parish at the Bossier Parish Library, there is a forum. That forum is being held by the Family Foundation, and it's called Broken Heals, HEALS. Detective Downing from the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office will be there speaking, and that's a forum to for the community, honestly, to come out and really talk and understand what's going on in your
Sure.
community, how you can help, and kind of just open a discussion for what's next. What do we need to do next?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, we've sat today with Miss Alexis Smith, Project Celebration. We've talked about domestic violence. We've talked about sexual assault. We've talked about child abuse. The main thing that we've come out with is to let you know if you are a victim of any of these, you are not alone. Project Celebration is here for you, with you. All you have to do is call. We'll have the numbers here on the screen that you can call, the website that you can go to. And again, never think you're alone if you're experiencing any of these. All right. So again, thank you so much, Miss Alexa, for your time today. Thank you for sharing all of that important information to all of our viewing audience today. And of course, don't forget also, you're watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, City of Shreveport, LA. And then don't forget to stay connected with us on all of our social media platforms. Again, I'm Corey Williams, your host, the I Love Shreveport podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.